From the people who help you know your competition, IntelliCheck presents the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast. The Multi-Point Inspection Podcast brings you news and stories from the automotive world told in an informative and entertaining way.
I started writing some articles because I thought it was relevant to the industry. I like the written word. I really, really do. I think sometimes it's very difficult for people to articulate what they want to say and how they want to say it. And with the written word, you could put it down, you could edit it, you could play with it.
I like the written word as well. And I love mixing media involving the written word. One of my favorite collaborations happened last December when the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast teamed up with Dealer Marketing Magazine, in which the publication wrote 2 different articles from one of our podcast episodes. So I thought it would be cool to reverse engineer that project by making a podcast episode from a LinkedIn article written by AJ Holst titled Creative Strategies to Boost Customer Retention in Dealership Service Departments. So here is the audio companion piece to the article written in June of 2023.
My name is AJ Holst, and I'm the president of AJ Holst Consulting. In 2 weeks, I will actually be celebrating my 39th anniversary in the automotive industry.
Number 1, personalized service. One of the most effective ways to enhance customer retention is by providing personalized service. By developing a customer database that captures details about their preferences, past purchases, and service history, dealerships can tailor their offerings to meet individual needs.
The one thing you have to do before you do anything when it comes to retention is you have to look at companies that have retention. Like, what are you comparing it to? Disney, they have retention. Nordstrom's has retention. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. But what are some of the things they do? They make it personalized for their customers. Using Ruth's Chris as a for instance, they ask the customer, have you ever dined with us before? Is this your first time with us? Is this a special occasion that you're here with us today? They say things to the customer along the line of, listen, are you willing to spend the next few hours with us to enjoy your meal? And they get a feel for what the customer wants. The first thing is you got to make that customer feel valued. When they come into your dealership, there's a lot of fear that your customers have. The signage is minimal. They're driving up to a garage door that they have no idea what the heck to do. It miraculously goes up as they pull a little bit further. And then there's this individual at the end doing this with a puss on, no smile, no nothing. Nobody greets them. And somebody walks up to them and says, hey, how you doing? You got an appointment today? Is that making the customer feel valued? No, it's not. Why should they do business with you? The first thing that you want to do, and again, in order to build that personalized service and build value, a great greeting. So many times I'm in dealerships and service advisors greet the customer and they don't even ask the customer's name, nor do they give their own name. You usually hear something like, hey, how you doing today? Are you here for an appointment? Or, hey, how you doing? How can I help you? When instead it should be, hey, how are you? My name is AJ Holst, and you are? Brandon, hey, so good to meet you, Brandon. Thanks for being with us today, Brandon, at XYZ Nissan. Thanks for being with us today. And then you go from there. At least now you've established a name, who you are, and what's it all about. It kind of makes the customer feel a little bit better. Other things that you can do, as far as that personalized service, after you're writing up the customer, put notes in the customer's file. What is their kids' names? What's their pets' names? Some people are crazy about their pets, and that's fine. What's their pets' names? What's their names? Do you know their birthday? Do you know their anniversary? All that other good stuff. But the big thing is when you greet that customer and you want to set that personalized service, the number one thing you have to do, if nothing else, is to set the expectation to the customer of what they should expect when they are doing business with you. Brandon, let me tell you what's going to happen today. I'm going to write you up. I'm going to get this all taken care of. I'm going to give it over to a technician. The technician's probably going to be bringing in within the next 15 to 20 minutes. And then what we'll do is we're going to do an evaluation. We're going to do a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, which is really kind of cool. That's done by the technician. And I'm going to send that to you from the technician. And it kind of looks like a stoplight. It's green, yellow, and red. Green means everything's great. Yellow needs attention soon. And red needs immediate attention. I'm going to go over that with you once I get that. What's the best way to send that to you? Would it be text or would it be email? Are you waiting with us or are you leaving it with us? Well, great. You're leaving it with us. Great. How about if I send it to you at around 11 o'clock? Does that work for you? Excellent. I'll shoot it. I'm setting that expectation with you. So there's no guessing games. So if that customer has to call you, you're dead.
Number 2, loyalty programs. Implementing a loyalty program can significantly contribute to customer retention. Such programs offer incentives and rewards to customers for their continued patronage.
What's going to make the customer stay loyal to the dealership is the dealership staying loyal to its employees. And what do I mean by that? People don't like turnover. People don't like seeing a new face every single time that they come in. I'm here to see Brandon. Is he here? He's no longer with us today. He's no longer with us. Now it's like you see the defensiveness gets up. They get all nervous again because now they got to start this whole process over again. The number one loyalty program that a dealership can give to their customers is to show loyalty and build a culture to their employees to keep them there. Make sure you have a real competitive pay plan. Make sure that that's competitive. Make sure that you're developing a great culture at the dealership. And that doesn't mean just buy them pizzas every once in a while. What are you all about at your dealership? What do you stand for? Subaru is wonderful at building culture. Why? It's about the love. So what Subaru ends up doing is they talk more about the programs that they donate to. So a lot of Subaru dealerships have dog parks at their dealership. They really, really put out that and what their culture is all about and what they stand for. That's what you have to do in order to build loyalty for your customer. I mean, you can do things like sales coupons, send out birthday gifts. I don't know about you. I'll pay more money if I know that I'm going to get great service. They know my name, that they're going to take care of me. They know what I want. It's like that. Remember Cheers, where everybody knows your name? It's the same type of thing. If you look at all those companies that I listed earlier, most of their products and services are a heck of a lot more money than their competitors. A lot more. But why do people go there? It's because of the way they're treated. They start that with building, again, a loyalty program to their own employees. And they also have processes. That's a big deal. They got to have processes. Nordstrom salespeople or Nordstrom's representatives are empowered to do whatever they need to do in order to take care of the customer. Oh, let me go check with my manager. No, they don't have to do that. Make a decision that's going to benefit and that is what's in the best interest of the customer and the company. That's it. And the same thing holds true at the dealership. Make a decision that's in the best interest of the customer and the dealership. That's the way you get loyalty.
Number 3, service reminders and follow-ups. Regular communication with customers is vital for customer retention. Dealerships should send out service reminders to customers to ensure they don't miss important maintenance intervals. These reminders can be personalized based on the customer's vehicle make, model, and service history.
I think service reminders are a great thing. I think, if you use your CRM, your DBS in order to extract that information and send out reminders using text is a great way of communication. Email is a great way of communication. And this is more along the line of follow-up as well. You need to know what is the best medium in order to reach your customer. A perfect example is that I hate text messaging. I hate it. Not that I don't see that it's a great way of communicating, and not that I'm not saying that it's not beneficial, because it is. But the one thing about texting and email is there's no inflection, there's no emotion, there's nothing there. I mean, how many times have you read something and go, what the heck did I mean by that? Knowing that my way of communication is a call, maybe might be a way of doing it. And even if it's an automated call, something to do that. When it comes to follow-up, I think dealership service departments are pretty horrible at it. First of all, let's talk about this. A lot of dealerships want what a BDC will give them, but frankly, a lot of dealerships are not willing to spend the money or invest the time in order to get what a BDC will give them. I've gotten into dealerships and a BDC department is literally two people sitting in a broom closet. And I'm not lying about that. I was in a dealership, two people sitting at the dealership, and there's mops and brooms and vacuums literally on the other side of their office. It was literally a broom closet. Meanwhile, these people are the ones that are responsible for incoming and outgoing calls on sales and service. And they're not trained on how to handle the questions that the customers may have. So I'll stick with it from a service end of it, from a fixed op end of it. I think follow-up is a big thing, especially after the customer leaves. I think 48 hours is the hot button. 48 hours is the magic number that you should reach out to that customer about, hey, to let them know that you're going to be getting a survey. And that shouldn't be the first time that they're hearing about it. But reach out to them, find out how's everything with their services. Do you feel that you were given extraordinary service? Ask those questions. And also, go in prepared that if they didn't do work that you offered them at the time, be willing to ask that question. Hey, Brandon, you were in for tires the other day. Does it make sense that we make an appointment for you to get this in? Does it make sense for us to order those tires for us? Let's go over them again one more time and open up that discussion again. I personally think that should be done by primarily the service advisor. But if not done by the service advisor, the service manager, somebody that can make a decision and talk to them logically and educate them on what they need. And sometimes I don't think BDCs are really trained in order to do that. Follow-up, I think, is huge. One of my mottos is that the fortune is in the follow-up.
Number 4, enhanced waiting areas. The waiting area experience plays a significant role in customer satisfaction and retention. By transforming the waiting area into a comfortable and engaging space, dealerships can improve the overall customer experience.
We're in the 21st century and people want a lot of convenience. The price of convenience is more on the people that are providing it now, especially at the dealership, than it is for the customer. It goes without saying right now, if you're at a dealership, your enhanced waiting rooms, you have to supply Wi-Fi. If you don't, you get a problem. You have to have nice, comfortable seating, not ripped chairs that people have been sitting to and their sweat stains are all over it and it's just nasty. But there's a lot more involved that goes into it. Yeah, you got to have refreshments. But what kind of refreshments? People don't want to turn around and reach into a box of Dunkin' Donut munchkins that 10 other people have had their hand in already. You have to be a little bit cognizant of that. Coffee. Has that pot of coffee been sitting there burnt all day long and now somebody comes in, they get the bottom cup and it's just like they just drank like razor blades? No, it's got to be individual. It's got to be pods. It's got to be something along that line. And here's some things that a lot of people take for granted and they don't think of. Silly stuff. Smudges on the doors. A lot of people have the glass doors. How difficult is it to walk by every once a day and right around the door handles, just wipe it off? That's one. On your television, a lot of dealerships now, whether they have the big televisions or the small televisions, you walk into a dealership and they have CNN or Fox News on. Why do I want to sit there in your waiting room? Why would you want your customer sitting in your waiting room knowing that they need 4 tires, brakes, this, and this, and they're sitting there and they're watching television and you have this doom and gloom crap and they're telling you how oh my God, the economy is this and the economy is that. The stuff that is on your television should be very, very benign. HGTV, cooking shows, the Outdoor Channel, anything but CNN and Fox News. Okay? It should be anything but that stuff. You want to keep it upbeat. You want to keep it positive. The biggest thing, bathrooms. When I go and I visit a dealership, I know this sounds really quirky. The first place that I go is the bathroom. Because if they don't take care of the bathroom, they're not taking care of the rest of the place either. Because that is the one single or 2 single rooms in the dealership that is used by everyone, customers and employees alike. So that's something that's got to be kept up. Is that done? You could walk into a dealership, and if that place is a mess, it's going to turn you off about the rest of the dealership. You don't have to have the newest and best of stuff, but soap doesn't cost much. Clean it. Your porters that are at your dealership, a lot of dealerships have porters. Put as part of their job description, not only taking care of the service lane, but also taking care of what's going on in the waiting room. Is this a place that you would want to bring somebody? This is your house. This is the living room. Let's call it for what it is. Is this what you want your living room to look like? And that's what I think dealerships have to expand and really focus on when it comes to those waiting rooms and things.
Number 5, mobile service and pickup and delivery. Offering convenient service options can greatly enhance customer retention. Dealerships can introduce a mobile service where trained technicians visit the customer's location to perform routine maintenance or repairs. Additionally, providing pickup and delivery options for customers who are unable to bring their vehicles to the dealership eliminates a major hurdle.
Mobile service is a tremendous, tremendous thing, but it's got to be done right. If you've ever had the pleasure, have you ever met Ed Roberts with Bozard Ford? Great man. I've had the pleasure of speaking to him quite a few times. Matter of fact, he wrote a great book called Mile One that I highly recommend about leadership. But Bozard Ford, where he works at, is really, really big with mobile service. But one of the things that he says is if you're going to do mobile service, you have to keep it simple. You can't open it up to doing everything. You have to do certain things. Maybe 7 or 8 things that you're going to do, maybe quick flashes, maybe some quick recalls or whatever the case might be. But it's got to be very, very specific, and it's got to be very, very limited in order for you to be successful with it. And that also goes for express service as well. Express service we don't talk enough about. Express service works, but it works best when it's very specific and it's also given only certain things that you're doing. It's express service and mobile service, for that matter, can't be the dumping ground for what the dealership doesn't want to do. So in other words, let's take express service as a for instance. Customer comes in for a check engine light and an oil change. That's not something that you're going to give to the express service people. Now, a lot of dealerships will say, well, there's an oil change on it. I'll give it to the oil change guy, let them do the oil change. I'll take it off the rack and move it over there, and I'll give this to the other technician in order to, do the check engine light. That's stupid. That's like getting out of the shower to wash your hair. Get the vehicle, give it to a qualified technician that can do both of the things. It's logical. Don't turn it into the dumping ground or washing the tickets with your express service or your mobile service for that matter. And the only other thing that I would maybe expand on this, and we could probably talk about this forever, if you're going to have an express service, stop making appointments. Stop making appointments for oil changes and tire rotations. It's silly. Everybody thinks that if I don't have appointments, that the people are just there'll be 50,000 people on your doorstep. It's not going to work that way. If you start telling people, hey, folks, guess what? Come on in for an oil change. We open up at 7 a.m. and we're here until 5, and you can come in anytime in between there for an oil change, and you don't need an appointment. Do you have any other concerns other than that oil change and tire rotation? No, I just need that. Are you sure? Yes. Great. Then you don't need to make an appointment. Come on down, and we'll get you in and out relatively quick. Just come on down and see that. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do have a check engine light. Okay, well, now we need to make an appointment for that. Let's do that and go ahead from there. And again, it goes back to what I originally said. You have to set the expectation with the customer, because if you don't, they're just going to assume. But again, you're in the 21st century, mobile service, express service, pickup and delivery. And there's services out there, especially for pickup and delivery. I think Red Cap is one of them. There's a couple of other services. Look into things like that. It minimizes your liability with people that work for you and all this other good stuff. But again, if you don't have express service, if you don't have mobile service or are thinking of getting into mobile service, if you don't have pickup delivery, you're going to lose business to somebody else.
We'll cover the next 5 points from AJ's article, including educational workshops, online service scheduling, customer reviews, and more, after a word from our sponsor. Perception is not always reality.
And, there's this perception that the dealerships are more expensive for everything. And IntelliCheck kind of confirms that that that's not the case.
IntelliCheck helps dealerships become aware of where their prices stand in regard to their competitors.
And IntelliCheck does a good job of giving us that pricing data to confirm that we're in the market.
And this allows dealerships to make their customers aware of their competitive pricing.
I placed 2 placards in the business center so they could see that while they're over there working on computers. I also placed it in our coffee area. We have a glass wall there, so when they walk in, as they're putting their creamer and sugar in their coffee, they're going to look up and see the pricing for our pricing as well as our competitors.
Introducing IntelliShare. IntelliShare contains all of IntelliCheck's promotional tools that you can use to promote your favorable prices, including Intella Ads, the printable flyers that you can show off in easel displays, Intella Media for your digital media boards, and Intella Widgets, so you can show off price comparisons on your website and even let your customers schedule from the widget.
Just having access to that data that they're able to provide gives us a good plan of how we're going to proceed.
Call 877-827-7273 or go to IntelliCheck.com to find out more about how the IntelliShare series can help you grow your business. Number 6, educational workshops and events. Educational workshops, new owner clinics, and events benefit customers and position the dealership as an authority in the automotive field. Hosting workshops or seminars on topics like vehicle maintenance, safety, or new technology advancements can attract customers and generate interest.
I think one of the things that a lot of dealerships have lost sight of, and I used to see a lot of it a long time ago, is new owner clinics. I think new owner clinics are awesome. You could do them quarterly. You could do them every 2 months and invite the customers back in and make it an event. And it doesn't matter whether they purchased a new vehicle or a used vehicle at your dealership. I want everybody there. And again, these are the little silly things that if you do it right, you make it an event. What you're doing is you're educating the customer of where to go, who to see, make the introductions of the people, let them know that the dealership service department is not a big, scary place, that you're not going to get ripped off, that it's not that place that you have to be afraid of. And it just calms the people down. I think new owner clinics are absolutely incredible. I was at a dealership one time. I was actually setting them up with an express service, and they were having a new owner clinic that night that I happened to be there. And I said, listen, why don't you try something? Why don't you ask everybody when they come in to just put their name on a little piece of paper and tell them that if they're due for an oil change, we'll do an oil change for them that night and you'll pull their name out of the hat. If not, we'll just turn around and we'll give you a voucher for a free oil change next time. So they said that, it sounds like a great idea. So they ended up, customers came in, they probably had about 20, 25 people. They did that, and lo and behold, the one name that they pulled out, the guy was overdue for an oil change. So what we did is we said, listen, let's put on a show for the customers. And what we did, we had big cones that they used in their parking lot. We got big cones and we put them around the lift, brought the customers into the shop. And basically what I did, because I just happened to be there, is I narrated what was going on through the process. And they were able to get a customer's oil change done from hello to goodbye in about 20 minutes. And they did this show in front of everybody, and they were just absolutely wowed.
Number 7, online service scheduling and self-service options. In today's digital age, providing online service scheduling and self-service options is crucial. Develop an easy-to-use online platform where customers can schedule service appointments, track the progress of their vehicle, and receive updates.
So many times when you go to a dealership's website, you can't even find their hours of operation of when they're open. If you've got to go more than 3 clicks to get the information that you want in today's society, they're going someplace else. So you've got to make it very, very simple for your customers. There's companies that are out there. Fixed Ops Marketing with Russell Hills is a great one, where you could actually go and it'll send you right to the pages where you need to go with minimal clicks. I'm not promoting one product over another. That's just one example, but there's tons of them out there. But make it simple for your customers. Check your website at your dealership. Does your hours of operation actually mirror your hours of operation? What do I mean by that? You go to your dealership, look at the service department. What time does it open? Opens at 7 o'clock and we close at 7 o'clock. Awesome. They're open 12 hours. But what they don't tell the customer is, well, the technicians don't get there to 8. They turn around and they leave at 12 o'clock and they're gone for an hour for lunch. So they come back at 1. And the technicians are only there really until 5. The other 2 hours are just for us to handle pickup and delivery. So of that 12 hours that you're open on your website, you're closed 4 hours a day. Multiply that by 6 days. You're closed 20 hours a week compared to what your opening hours say. Now, a lot of people don't think that that's a big deal, but we take that for granted. Let's put it on its head and go to the reverse. Go to the sales department. If it says that they're open until 9 and they're open until 9, guess what? You can get a salesperson from 9 to 9, no problem whatsoever. So why should it be any different? That's what your customers expect. So you need to do that. Another thing also too with online scheduling, and this is something that I experienced not too long ago, a lot of the companies that are out there, you've got Xtime, you've got Dealer Logics, you've got CDK, you've got Reynolds and Reynolds, all these companies that have a built-in appointment scheduler in them. But if you don't manage that, they're going to put their own settings in there and they'll shut you off on a particular time every single day. And again, I was at a dealership, I went in there and I wanted to make an appointment for service. It would not allow me to make a service appointment to bring my vehicle in past 2 o'clock in the afternoon any single day. Meanwhile, they're saying they're open until such and such. And when I went to the dealer and I'm talking to the dealership and we were talking about just this exact thing, he had no idea that that was a problem. And again, that old saying we always talk about, you can't expect what you don't inspect.
Number 8, customer feedback and reviews. Customer feedback and online reviews have a significant impact on customer retention. Encourage customers to provide feedback and reviews of their service experience.
I'm just going to say this, stop sweating the damn survey. Stop sweating the survey. You're going to think I'm crazy, but there's service advisors that are out there that are afraid to sell service work to customers because they're afraid of getting a bad survey. If you're telling the customers what they need based upon a comprehensive inspection or a specific inspection by a technician, number one, all you are is a messenger. And number two, you're obligated to tell the customer what the technician found. Okay? You're obligated to do that because if you don't, you could be rest assured that down the road, what's going to end up happening is they're going to come back, they're going to hear something, they're going to feel something, then you're going to tell them what it is, and they're going to be like, well, why didn't you tell me that the last time? So stop sweating the survey. Just do the right thing for your customer. And I'm talking about being a service advisor right now for a second. There's nothing innovative out there right now that has changed over how many years there's been a service advisor in order to do the job properly. It's kind of like playing baseball. You got to hit, you got to run, you got to catch, you got to throw, you got to play fundamental baseball in order to execute and play the game. It's very, very simple. Football, you got to block, you got to tackle, you got to run, you got to throw, you got to catch. There's nothing innovative there. Yeah, the plays may change a little bit, but again, the basic premise is the same. Well, it's the same thing that goes for a service advisor. You got to give a great greeting. You got to do a walk around. You got to listen to what the client is saying to you. Okay. You have to listen. You have to update them of what's going on with their vehicle before they get to you. You have to give them the information of what the technician found, set the expectations, let them know when their vehicle will be done, and set the expectation and give a proper delivery of when they come to pick up the vehicle, and then follow up afterwards to check and see what's going on and how their vehicle service was. If you do it 100% of the time, all the time, every customer, every time, you don't have to worry about the surveys. Again, take care of the little things. the big things take care of themselves. Now, you're going to make everybody happy? No. But again, just like baseball, and I love sports analogies, baseball it's a sport of failure. If you're a Hall of Fame hitter and you have a lifetime average of 300, that means that for every 10 at-bats, you failed 7 times. All right. The only way in order for you to increase your batting average is to have more successes and more at-bats. That's it. It's the only way that that's going to happen. Well, it's the same thing with a survey with dealerships. The only way that you're going to get more success and a better average is to get more at-bats, which equates to more return surveys. You've got to ask the customer for the survey. Hey, Brandon, you brought your vehicle in for service today. I wanted to ask you a question, if I may. Did you have an exceptional service experience today? Get an answer. Listen, you're going to be getting a survey in the mail or an email from such and such. I just asked, it's my report card. If you wouldn't mind, could you please take the time to fill it out? You don't have to tell them how to fill it out. Just tell them to send it. The other things that you could do as well, invest in QR codes for Google and Yelp, have them in each desk. Hey, folks, did you have an exceptional service today? Absolutely. It was great, Brandon. I loved it. Hey, listen, do me a favor if you wouldn't mind. Could you scan this code and just give me a 5-star? Boom. Ask for it. It's a QR code. Everybody and their mother knows what a QR code is and what to do with it. Ask for that.
Number 9, cross-promotion with sales department. Collaboration between the service and sales departments can create synergies that lead to increased customer retention. By partnering with the sales team, dealerships can offer incentives for service customers who may be considering a new vehicle purchase.
The sales department needs to edify the service department. The service department needs to edify the sales department. The sales department has a reputation, unfortunately, from the service end is always saying to the customer, no problem. Because it's like customer buys the vehicle. Oh, well, I want to get mud flaps. Nope, no problem. No problem. We'll set you up in service. They just bought a used car. Oh, I hear a noise in the back. That's no problem. Just call service. And now the service departments get blindsided and stuff like that. So there's a lot of animosity and many times between the service and the parts department with the sales department. And the parts department feels the same way about the service department, sometimes saying no problem. So you got to get away from that. Instead of saying no problem, address it with the customer. Listen, I don't have the answer for you right now, Brandon, but listen, let me get your number. Let me give you a call back. Or I'm going to have somebody give you a call back that can answer your question better than I can. Who's going to be mad at that? Nobody. But you have to be willing to do that. Be willing to say, I don't know. How many times in the service department, hey, listen, I don't know if I want to fix my car right now. It's cost too much money to fix the car. Or you may even say to a customer, hey, listen, between me and you, Brandon, quite frankly, the repairs on your vehicle really exceed the worth of the vehicle. Now, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm here for you. But I'd feel more comfortable if maybe you speak to one of our salespeople up front and maybe consider getting into another vehicle. I'm in the service department. I don't know squat about selling a car, what deals are out there, what your vehicle's worth or not. I don't know any of that. What would be prudent to me is hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back. Or prior to even having that discussion, go and talk to a salesperson, talk to a sales manager. Hey, listen, this is what I'm planning on doing, blah, 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 blah. Are you going to be available within the next 10, 15 minutes? Make yourself available. So now when I come and I'm speaking to Brandon and Brandon says, you know what, I've thought about that a little bit, maybe. Hey, listen, come with me. Bring you up. Brandon, I did have a conversation with Joe a little bit prior to me coming back and speaking to you. Joe, this is Brandon. He's the gentleman that has the XYZ vehicle. Listen, Brandon, you're in capable hands. I'm going to have you speak. I'm going to put some things on the back burner right now, except for the things that you already authorized. I'm going to put it on the back burner right now, and I'll get your vehicle done in a little while. But you're really in capable hands, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Hey, thanks a lot, Joe. Talk to you. And get the hell out. You make the introduction, do what you got to do. That's done. Now that conversation happens there. Same thing with the sales department. Instead of saying, oh, that's no problem, that's normal, I hear that all the time. You don't know that. Go talk to a service advisor, and then the service advisor talk to the client and make the arrangement to get it back so the doctor, the technician, could actually have a look at it and give you an idea of what's going on. If it can be done now, do it now. If it's something that needs to make an appointment, hey, let's make an appointment, let's get this in, whatever the case might be. The cross promotion of the two departments, it's kind of like mom and dad. and the customer is your kid, if they feel weakness on either one of it, the vulnerability is going to come up and they're going to go right to the softie, right? But if they see that we're a united front, if they see that, wow, this place really has their act together, you're going to have much different results.
Number 10, community involvement. Engaging with the local community is an excellent way to build a positive image and enhance customer retention.
You look at manufacturers like Subaru. One of the things that Subaru has done is they market the love. Well, how do you market that? What's that all about? Well, when you go to a Subaru dealership, for instance, a lot of the dealerships, they have their own little dog parks. If you purchase a vehicle, they will donate to, I think it's one of 7 or 8 charities of your choice. Well, why can't local dealerships do that? For every vehicle that's purchased, donate to the local Boys Club and Girls Club, the local YMCA, the local ASPCA, things along that line, because those are the little things that will tug at people's hearts. There's nothing sexy about buying a car. But if they turn around and they purchase a vehicle, maybe if you're advertising to the customers and letting them know, hey, it may not be a big deal, but for every vehicle that's sold at our dealership, we donate $500 to, I don't know, a battered women's shelter, ASPCA. And what we'll do is we'll do it in your name or something like that. It gives people a feeling that there's so much bigger than just the car purchase or the service purchase. You could do the same thing in your service department. Retention is all about why should the customer do business with you? That's bottom line. And you have to find out what that is. Another thing, too, is take active interest in local things in your neighborhood. Service managers, parts managers, general managers. Are you active in local schools, promoting your industry in local schools? Maybe local tech programs, community colleges. There's a lot of kids that are out there that college may not be for them. Meanwhile, the automotive industry is a tremendous industry that you can go in with relatively little skills that you can definitely train and you can make a really good living. Heck, I was one of them. One of the things that I was a big fan of is I like doing business with people that do business with me. So for instance, I remember years ago when my daughter first started playing softball, you would go to the local fields and in the outfield was all the posters lining the fence of the local businesses that supported Little League. Do things like that. Do things like that for soccer. Do things like that for your youth football leagues. Get involved in your local parades. You got to have a lot more presence in the community than just that, oh, here's the local Chevrolet dealership. So when I talk about retention and getting in community involvement, that's how you build your dealership brand. That's how you build your reputation and stay connected with the customers in your area, but on a personal level. Community involvement not only attracts new customers, but it also strengthens the relationship with the existing customers who appreciate supporting a dealership with a social conscience.
I'd like to thank AJ Holst with AJ Holst Consulting for letting me piggyback off of his informative article on LinkedIn. You can find the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps with the algorithm thingy. Executive producers for the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast are Melissa Marlette and Joe Gibson. It is written, produced, and narrated by me, Brandon Barnett. This episode's featured music is spoken word by Renderings. IntelliCheck. Know your competition.